to te tendana mena pure kuamba fe chakarege ewa ike you are the Volvo Akudi. Ya barka. Barka. Jena Tinchenta in Nakole, Nabuame in Regional Secretary. Nabuame in Regional Secretary, Lawyer Luanga, Kakuada number Willity. Then Wechiau Naa the many Tindeme. To number to the Banchene. Banturo te President Wa Naa ka yodin awa balala tetare ye mngabie ye chairman Adnan Obieche kenenga pole tetare te former regional minister Alhaji Amini Suleimani Obieche tenta te former ambassador Mahmoud Khaled the parliamentary candidate for Laura Honorable Bid Ziedian. Ata the parliamentary candidate the MP Dafiama Busen Issa Dr. Sandare. The parliamentary candidate Wa Western Uyuana Peter Lantene 12. The regional chairman Abdul Nasir Sani, chairman Bonus. The minority leader Honorable Haruna Idrisu. The 2020 campaign manager Professor Joshua Alabi. The Jami chairman, national chairman BHA. Honorable Ofosu Ampofo. Ezu. ADC. Tedoman. PC. Now there. Ade Aida and Dao Adewule. Yabaraka. Ezu. NDC. Abdumar. Yabaraka. Jimarenga Warbachi Cha Yala Maya Ella. A young dear be polycra, I will Wechiau Naa Palo de me. I be polying Bankaka, Wechiau Naa Jinkapo Mapialo, and Alon Kumbandi song, and yet Wechiau Naa Jinkapo Lamboring. Only Nakonda and Nidgana Koya, Konen Dawaira, only Nakapo Bigana, but Via Jama Tigali, on Jinserti Daka, Tibelan Bankai, Apollo Warlana, on that no power, Ademaro Mila, Vice Presidential candidate level. Adama Orala Ayakaya, Kakina Enya, Kina Kurabiaba, Achagas Kukina Enya, oh, the E block Dormo, Amalo, Anja Kakuna was second time. Wechiau Naa Palo Young, and go. Yellow on a valley you like a propellant. Abipole, you are Lola. Abipole.
To tinagara ni mitor the time na ambachibe. Tinambore tingwa lanchana tinambore ka Wechiau Naa kaum timbi upuo kako kote welcome address upoto ba opela chatimbi chawa. So Wechiau Naa welcome address jabi kania na wa haubabora akuda welcome address.
A short welcome address by Naa Imoru. This way. This way. A short welcome address by Naa Imoru Nandong, Governor II, Wechiau Naa, and the Parliament Chief of Wechiau Tosan area on the occasion of the brief visit of the Excellency John Dramani Mahama, former Presidential of Republic of Ghana, to Wechiau, Wednesday, 2nd September 2020. His Excellency, former President of the Republic of Ghana, colleagues, chiefs, parliamentary candidates, elders, assembly members, NDC party functionaries, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the chief and people of Wechiau, I humbly welcome you all, especially His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, former President of the Republic of Ghana, to Wechiau. Ladies and gentlemen, as you are all aware, Ghanaians are in an election campaign season towards 7 December 2020, presidential and parliamentary elections. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, you are again aware that chiefs for that matter, parliament chiefs, are not allowed under the law to do active political activities. I must, however, say that I am very happy His Excellency, the former President John Dramani Mahama, flag bearer of NDC, come to the Upper West and has find a space in his tight program to come to Wechiau to visit me and my people. As I have indicated earlier, you were the former President of the Republic of Ghana under the same NDC ticket for 4 years, and Ghanaians have witnessed your governorship until 2016, when you lost power to the President MPP government under the Excellence Nana Akufo-Addo. In 2016 general election, all soon, 4 years are almost up again, and Ghanaians would be going to the polls to elect another set of people, the president and the parliamentarians. His Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, all that I can say under the present circumstances to that Ghanaian are their own judges. They will have to judge between the last 4 years under the Excellence John Dramani Mahama and that of President His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo, and cast their votes, make their choice. I will also add my voice to the many Ghanaians and advise and appeal to all party activists to do their political campaigns clean, devoid of insults and rancor. We are not in normal times. Every life is important, and we need everybody to live and vote and 7th December 2020. Again, I welcome you to Wechiau and wish you a successful tour of the region. Finally, I wish you a success in the 7th December 2020. And I'm now appealing to you, by the grace of God, when you win, We are appealing for nursing training college or training college. Roads from Wa to Wechiau and through last year is bad. District hospital and upgrade senior high school. And then we need you to build a bridge across the Black Water, which we are linking with Cote d'Ivoire. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Barka Yagaya. Barka Barka. Jonathan Ta Mamba Chibe Tija. We welcome His Excellency the President of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, to give us his brief keynote address.
Thank you. Wechiau Naa, elders of Wechiau. This is not the first time I'm visiting this palace, and every time I've come, I've been received very warmly, like one of your own sons, and I want to thank you very much for that. I want to express my appreciation to all the people of Wa West for coming out in your numbers during the registration exercise to register so that you can exercise your franchise come 7th December 2020. I'd like to remind you too that soon the voters register will be exhibited, and by exhibition of the voters register I mean the Electoral Commission will bring the register back to our communities, and all of us will be required to go with our voters ID cards and check if our names are in the register. This is a very important exercise because your name can accidentally be omitted. And if your name is accidentally omitted and you don't go and check, on election day you go with your card, but your name will not be in the register and you will not be allowed to vote. And that will be a very unfortunate situation. My expectation is that the enthusiasm with which we registered is the same enthusiasm that we're going to display on voting day, 7th December 2020. And as Wechiau Naa said, election is about choices. Ghanaians have had the opportunity to weigh both the MPP and the NDC, and they know which of the two is heavier. We lived in this country under the NDC administration, and we have lived in this country over the last 4 years under the MPP administration. And we know ourselves which of the two governments represents prosperity and development, represents improvement in our lives, represents opportunities for all of us and not a few people. And I'm sure when you have done this analysis, there's no doubt that on 7th December 2020, NDC will win the election and come back into office. Normally when it's getting to time to elections, that is the time when politicians come with promises. And often the mantra is that just promise anything. After all, it's the political power that is important. But what some people forget is that when you promise what you can't deliver, eventually you'll be exposed. And so if you go and say you build a factory in every district, you give every community constituency $1 million every year. Abba, this kind of lie.
the day will come when you'll be exposed. And so people are going to come with false promises again. But when they do that, what they do is they shake the faith of our people in our democratic system. And that is why today you hear people say, I won't vote because I don't trust politicians. But in all this I say, we know those who make false promises. In NDC, we don't say what we can't do. When we come, we make specific promises that we know are achievable. And we don't only achieve those promises, we do more than the promises that we delivered. And so we know those who make false promises, and they've been exposed. And so we must be wary of them again when they come giving those false promises. We have a song that says, first fool no be fool, but second fool nah be fool. If somebody fools you the first time, you are not a fool because you didn't know. But if the same person comes back and fools you a second time, then you are really a fool. And are we going to allow ourselves to be fools? And so this time, Ghanaians are discerning. When you make false promises, Ghanaians can tell that what you're saying is not true. And so we will promise what we can deliver. And Ghanaians have seen NDC in government. If you look at Upper West region, from electricity to water, to schools, to hospitals, to roads, everything in this region is delivered under an NDC administration. And so the issues that Wechiau Naa asked are not difficult things. We started it already. We started at Dorimon Secondary School. And we started it for a reason, that the children in this catchment area, when they finish JHS and they have to go to secondary school, they don't have to go all the way to Wasek or Laura Secondary or Jirapa Secondary. They also will have a secondary school in their community that they can attend. And with the advent of free SHS, we need more access to secondary schools so that the children don't get congested in the existing secondary schools. And that is why we started building the Dorimon SHS. And it's not the only SHS. We were going to build 200 of them so that children can have more access, and then we will not have this double track system where children go for 3 months and then others sit at home for 3 months. If you are not careful and you have a teenage daughter, before you see teenage pregnancy has come into the equation. And the boys too, if they stay at home for too long and they fall into bad company, before you see they are taking tramadol, tramol and other things like that. And so I said when we come, we will fast track the completion of the 200 secondary schools we're building. And for those that serve a large catchment area, we will add dormitory blocks so that the children who don't live in the community can have a place to stay and study. And when we finish building those schools, we will abolish as soon as possible the double track so that all our children can go to school at the same time and they will vacate at the same time. But more important than all that is the issue of jobs. If you take people under 35 years and below, they constitute 60% of Ghana's population. And yet, from all levels of school, JHS, SHS, tertiary, university, our children come out and they can't find jobs to do. In my first administration, my focus was on infrastructure, building hospitals, schools, roads, electricity, water. In the second coming of JM, my focus is on jobs, especially for young people. Especially for young people. We will create jobs in agriculture and agribusiness. Those who want to farm, we will help them with small equipment so that it will make farming easy. Our young people don't want to go to farm and use hoe and cutlass to till the land. But if you plow for him You provide him with spraying services. He will be happy to farm. They don't want to do the back-breaking work that our fathers and forefathers used to do. And so if we provide them with small equipment that makes farming easier, how many young people will want to go and farm and make money for themselves? And so we're going to modernize agriculture by making sure that young people who want to go into agriculture are provided with the kind of equipment they need to make agriculture less laborsome. And so those are some of the issues we'll look at. We will employ young people to plant trees. Our environment is getting spoiled. We're burning charcoal all over the place, cutting down the trees. But how many trees are we planting to replace them? And so we'll employ young people to not only plant trees, to grow trees. They will plant the trees during the dry season. They will go and make sure the trees are doing well. They will water the trees so that the trees will prevail and grow. We will employ young people in construction. I've talked about the big push. We're going to invest $10 billion over 5 years in providing infrastructure, roads, electricity, water, schools, hospitals. And in all that construction that will take place, for young people who are carpenters, masons, truck operators, excavator and bulldozer operators, steel benders, they will find work to do in the construction industry. We will find work for young people in agribusiness. Young people can buy granules, raw granules, and process the granules, package them, and send them to the markets in Accra, Kumasi for sale. Young people can process beans into bean powder, can process corn powder, cassava flour. I mean, there's so many things. If you give them small equipment, they can set up agribusiness firms and process our agricultural products for the market. And so we're going to invest in all this so that our people can find jobs to do. And those who don't have skills, we will let them go and acquire skills. And so we'll build technical vocational training centers in the districts, so that those who want to go and learn skills, hairdressing, dressmaking, carpentry, masonry, auto mechanic, they can go to these centers and go and learn. And government will sponsor it free of charge to the students. But the good thing is, when they are finished, they will not only get a certificate. If you did hairdressing and you're leaving, just as we did under Less Debt, we will give you dryers and rollers and the things that you need to go and start your work. If you learn auto mechanics, we'll give you a tools box with all the spanners and the tools that you need to go and start your work. So that we can invest in our young people in order that they can create prosperity for this country, because it's small and medium enterprises that make a country. There is one thing that is important to every society, and that is security and safety. Under the NDC administration, this country was more safe and more secure than it is today. Today, every day, there's an armed robbery somewhere. Our people are not safe. Our mothers, when they go to the market days and they're coming, they stop them, they take their mobile phones from them, they take their money from them and all their valuables. The little capital that they have that they are trading with is taken away from them. And so they come and sit back in their poverty. NDC will make this country safe again. We will fight the armed robbers. We will fight and eliminate the armed robbers. I mean, look at Wild West. A district like this has only 26 policemen. Only 26 policemen. And that is why the armed robbers do what they want and get away with it. Because by the time you mobilize the police to go to the scene of an armed robbery, they are gone long ago. So we increase the number of police stations, we increase the number of police officers, we will give them vehicles and equipment, arm them with ammunition and guns so that they can fight the armed robbers and eliminate them for us. if there's one failure of the Akufo-Addo administration, it is in the area of corruption. This government has failed totally in the fight against corruption. Now corruption happens with impunity. And the president himself has become the clearinghouse for corruption. Because a lot of those indulging in it are his friends, his colleagues, his family. And so he can't take any action against them. Of all the numerous cases of corruption that have been cited, tell me how many he has investigated or prosecuted. None. And that's part of the tragedy. Because corruption robs us of the essential resources we need to put development and prosperity in for the people. And so, like I've said, NDC will take the fight against corruption to a whole new level. We're going to investigate and prosecute not only people who have been corrupt in this present administration, but if you serve in my government in the future and you engage in corruption, I'm sorry, the law will deal with you. That one has nothing to do with me. We will let the law take its course. Unfortunately, in this present circumstance, the anti-corruption agency's hands have been tied. And those who have been bold to fight against corruption, the government rather fights against them. There's the case of the Auditor General, Domelevo, strong anti-corruption crusader, doing his work very vociferously and zealously. All of a sudden, he gets a letter from the president. He says, you have accumulated leave of 100 and something days. Go on leave. And he says, okay, I'll go on leave and come. The man goes on leave, and they go and change the locks to his office. If you work in a place and they ask you to go on leave, and you go on leave, and they go and change the locks, what does it mean? It means they know that you are not coming back. And that's exactly what government intends. They don't want Domelevo back. And so we'll take the fight against corruption to a whole new level. The tragedy of this government is that they have borrowed so much and received so much resources, and yet there's nothing to show for it. After borrowing almost 140 billion Ghana cedis in 3.5 years, 140 billion Ghana cedis. Show me one single secondary school or a hospital or roads or electricity or water. This government has added only 1% to electricity access. They came and met electricity access at 84%, and they've moved it to 85%. 1% in 4 years after 140 billion. They say I borrowed 54 billion when I was president over 4 years. And yet everywhere you go in this country, you will see development projects that 54 billion was used to execute. Recently they came with something they call a delivery tracker to show all the development they had done in the country. In our green book, we don't have toilets, because toilets and things are the job of the district assemblies. There are some projects that are the responsibility of district assemblies. And so we show the schools, we show the water, we show the CHIPS compounds, we show the highways, the interchanges, the airports, the harbors. And that green book, if you go through it, there's not one single project, if you go to the site, that project is not there. And yet this delivery tracker, when they put it up, almost every district will find projects that don't exist. Say a project is ongoing and it is not. Dorimon School, is it ongoing? Yet in Dr. Baumia's tracker, the MPP's tracker, they say Dorimon's Community Day Senior High School, ongoing. That project has been standing there since 2017, after JM left office. Not a single thing has been done to that school again, and yet they say it's ongoing. We will come and complete it, no problem, so that our children can go to school. And so I want to thank you, Wechiau Naa, and to introduce our parliamentary candidate to you. He's the one who is officially standing for the NDC in this constituency. All the things you asked, the bridges, the completion of the school, and all the other things you asked, I'll have to work with him to be able to deliver them to you. And so when you vote for JM, you also vote for Peter Tobu, so that I'll work with him in Parliament to be able to achieve what you have requested. I've taken note about your request for the bridge over the Black Water. It is an important project that will open up this part of the region so that we can have some international trade between that part of Burkina Faso and Ghana. It is not only Wechiau that requires it. My own constituency, Bole, also wants a bridge over the Black Water to link Bona in Côte d'Ivoire. And so we'll look at the two bridges. We'll look at building the two bridges so that we can have easy access between us and our neighbors and promote international trade. So I'll raise his hand so that you know that officially he is the candidate that NDC is fielding in this constituency. Everybody knows him. He is a retired police officer. He's had a very good career in the police service. And I'm going to work with him to combat the armed robbery in Wa West so that you feel safe. And so he's Peter Lanchene Tobu. Yebarka Barka.
Te Jonathan ta te toro na puin den dengecha. Chasa na takare bla.